Right, everyone, quantitative data analysis. So, to just start with the obvious in terms of quantitative data analysis, to do this really well, you need to have your questionnaires sorted. And we spoke about the need to steal surveys from elsewhere. So, to try and find surveys that you've grabbed from elsewhere. So once you've done that and you've made sure that these surveys had been verified, that they are valid and reliable, and all this, the validation processes have been done, you can then use them as the two variables in your research. So the independent and the dependent variable, we've gone through that quite a bit already. So in terms of this approach, you can see the objectives there. It really is about what do we do with statistics. Now, at this stage, we only really use descriptive statistics. Now, to also just say, for me, correlation is part of descriptive statistics. I will share a video clip with you to show how correlation is done using Excel. I should have loaded it before class, but I really just didn't get around to it today. So if we look at the sort of bits and pieces that are important, the reason we do a statistical analysis is because, let me just get rid of that, is because we want to make sure that we stick in terms of the golden thread as it relates to quantitative research. So part of the golden thread is the fact that you have to be objective. So part of being objective is making sure that you divorce yourself from the actual stats and the analysis, and you allow statistics to do that kind of analysis. So key in terms of the golden thread is making sure that you are objective in terms of the way you arrive at your findings, as well as the way you present those findings. And for me, part of that also is you will, once you've got your stats, you will do your interpretation. And once you start doing the interpretation, it's that point in time where you start to add value to, at a very low level, to the existing theory that's out there, the existing scholarship. And that to me is the magic bits. In terms of this interpretation, guys, remember, spend time thinking about what the stats show, thinking about how those relationships have been indicated, what the relationships are, and analyze it individually as collectively as part of your correlation. So from a statistics perspective, I think there are a couple of things. I think have to gather the data. In terms of data gather, we've all gone with the approach of using existing scales, using existing questionnaires or surveys, and then obviously personalizing them in terms of our own research. And then it's about analyzing the data, and that's where your statistics will come into it. The interpreting the data is where you draw your conclusions from the stats. It is where you start writing up the kind of findings and what has been pointed at to you as a consequence of the various relationships that you have found. In terms of formatting and presenting data, if you've used Google Forms, if you've used Microsoft Forms, I think it's called Microsoft Forms, this is fairly simple to do because there are wonderful summaries in Google Forms where you can simply cut out the actual graphs and the pie charts and whatever options there are and stick those into your document. So what a quantitative researcher can do incredibly well and much better than a qualitative researcher is make their document visually appealing. And the visual appeal is important. So use from Google Forms, use from Microsoft Forms, the bits of and pieces where the summaries have been done, where the mean, the mode, etc., have been done for you. So if we look at what we consider to be descriptive statistics, the different ones there, and you would have done this in, I would imagine, second or first year in your BCom. For people that haven't done this in a while, not to worry. I will share additional slides and additional recordings and additional bits with you. Descriptive statistics, ha ha ha, that wonderful term I can't say. Descriptive Descriptive stats, we'll keep it simple. So your measures of central tendency, you can see the ones we have there. Please spend a bit of time on each of those and discuss those in terms of what they point out from the documents that were completed, from the bits and pieces that were completed in the survey. And then we can look at dispersion, how people vary in terms of the answers around some sort of central point. So here we have our descriptive statistic, descriptive stats, because I can't say statistics because I'm an idiot. So in terms of descriptive stats, I think the key thing is that it gives us a wonderful summary of our data. And I'm hoping that you guys are aiming to get at least 25, 30, 40, 50 people to complete your survey. And if you can get to 50 and above, it makes it so much easy to create information that is generalizable and findings that is generalizable. And also, remember, if you are going to publish afterwards, this becomes important. Go for it, Nadia.
Hi, I just want to hear Doc's opinion. I've been speaking to my supervisor, but I just want to, am I the only one whose data collection is going very, very slow? I've only had like 5 participants answer my survey so far. So
Shibbit.
I guess yes, and I'm starting to panic because I still need to do the data
Yeah,
interpretation
no,
and
we're going to
all that,
need
and I do
lots
want to
more.
close the survey at the end of August, obviously. And I
Nadia,
suppose I'm
tell
just
me
asking
what
for
your
a bit of help.
title is. Tell me your
It's
title.
the Profit Meets Planet. Is there a correlation between green supply chain strategies and the financial performance of South African FMCG companies?
Sure. Does anyone have connects in terms of that kind of title?
Sorry, say again.
Now I'm asking the rest of the class if
Oh,
anyone has connections within that particular title. Nadia, please do me a favor. Also put this on the group and see if anyone can help
okay, I
from
will.
the
Thank
group.
you.
Okay.
Will do.
Um, so green supply chain strategies. Sure. I'm trying to get my brain around this. Hold on a second. I don't know where my phone is. Um, hold on a second. I'm sorry. Hold on a second. Let me quickly just search here and see if I know anyone. Okay. I'm going to try and see who I can connect you to as well. Okay. So ask on
Okay,
the
thank
group
you
for
very
people
much.
to help. I think everyone needs to jump in and help each other here. Is anyone else struggling to get respondents?
Hi, sir.
Here, here.
So there is probably around 4 or 5 people who I can interview. The only thing is it might end up being quite limited because there's not a lot of practitioners
No,
in the
but we
greater
know
Durban area.
practitioners. I have students whose parents are practitioners.
Oh,
So
okay.
um, okay, can I guys gotta be massively now remember, Kira, this is quantitative, not qualitative, but
Okay.
hold on a second. I will ask someone while I'm here because I will forget. My apologies, guys. Hugely unprofessional.
Would they fall into the NRP bracket though? Are
Yes,
they okay?
100%.
Okay, amazing.
John, well, how's it? Please do me a favor and ask your mom if she would be prepared to be interviewed for some research in terms of her future within the national NHI bill. And then if she also has additional people that she can recommend, and then I'll connect you with my student or her with my student. Okay. So yeah, she's a kinesiologist. Is that the term? Kinesiologist?
Oh, yes, I think so.
Okay. So and she will have connects as well. So don't worry about that. We'll get you to eight.
Okay.
That's not a problem.
Okay, amazing. Yeah, because my mom does have a few connections and I do know someone else. It just is, I'm like thinking it's probably, yeah, it's a small group.
Well, we only have to have eight.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
the quantitative people have to at least, I think you should at least have 50. Nadia,
Oh,
leave
wow.
it with me for a second. We'll find someone. Okay. So, guys, when we look at the bits of statistics that are here, I think the first one is we need to look at the maximum and minimum values, but also what the different central points are. So these calculations you need to do, whether you are going to just use a simple calculator or use Excel, I'm not too worried about it. I actually think, if I'm not mistaken, Google Forms might do this for you, and also Microsoft Forms, but I might be talking under correction there. So in terms of your different values, and I think the recording that I will give you will help you with this as well, is obviously you will, when you do your correlation, you will be working on the mean scores. So essentially just taking the number of values, and remember, you have two sets of variables. So taking the values from the first set, calculating the average, taking the values from the second set and calculating the average, discussing those in terms of what those specific numbers indicate before you start moving on to the actual correlation. The second point is to look at the median. So stick the numbers in ascending order and find the middle number. And then, guys, also, which number appears most often. So you can use each of those and have a discussion around what those numbers indicate for each of your variables. I think the key thing we also have to show, and again, I'm sure Google Forms will give you this, as well as Microsoft Forms. And the moment I have that answer for you, Kira, I'll let you know. Okay, let me just do this because this is a favor. Thanks so much, Boyo. Also, if your mom has other connects in the industry, if she wouldn't mind helping share with those people as well. Right. So in terms of distribution, I think there are a number of ways of showing the distribution. Here we've got a histogram. So what it does, it shows us the number of times that a particular value was assigned to the outcomes to the different questions in each of the variables. So from a descriptive stats perspective, I think the first one that you have to show, guys, is the standard deviation. So you need to see the spread of the data. And in terms of that spread of the data, also indicate to us what we can learn from it. The example that they've given us here is the range of IQ scores. So you will remember, and I want to see if I've got a slide that will show it. Yeah, it's this one. I'm jumping slightly ahead and I'll go back to that. So this is what the range of IQ scores would look like. Now, remember, we know that IQ is mental age over chronological age, and that we know that the average IQ is 100. And once you start moving towards 130 and beyond, you're considered genius. And also, if you start moving below 80, you are considered a Trump supporter. So I think it is important to show that distribution, and again to discuss that distribution. It is how you interrogate the data that will give us an idea of what you're actually drawing from the results that you have. So in terms of this, where did I go? My apologies. Yeah. So the spread of the data, the standard deviation, so the different values and how many of the different values there are. So in terms of the correlation coefficient, this is the maximum point that we will go to. So when we think of the correlation coefficient, is you would take each of your variables, you will calculate the average of or the mean of those variables, and then you will compare them. I will provide a video on this, on how to do that, and you can use the video for a variety of things. So the key thing here is that the way that we've written each of our titles is that we have attempted to indicate the possible relationship between variables. And to look at that relationship, we are going to use Pearson's coefficient. And you'll see the X always for the independent variable, so the variable that we manipulate, and then the Y, the dependent variable, how that manipulation of the independent variable will play out on the dependent variable. So generally, we are looking at a coefficient between -1 and +1. Now, honestly, the closer the number is to minus or +1, the stronger the correlation. Now, we are looking at positive correlation, and that's how we've set this up. So a negative number shows a negative correlation. And so as the independent variable increases, we will find that there is a decrease in the dependent variable. So in terms of this example, amount of alcohol consumed, your ability to drive. Give me other examples of that, where if we increase the independent variable, there will be a decrease in the dependent variable. Okay? Take more alcohol, be less able to drive. Although some of you are saying you're better drivers, I don't believe that. Give me other examples where that would happen. Higher the levels of stress when studying for an exam, the lower the results will be. And I'm talking about extreme levels of stress. You're likely to have very low results. Give me other examples where if there is an increase in the independent, there will be a decrease in the dependent. Everyone is very quiet. Absolutely. Increase in exercise, decrease in your weight. A nice one to Sheila. A nice one. Okay. Guys, and then obviously if we have a positive, so increase the independent variable and increase in the dependent variable. The earlier you start to study, essentially, the better you'll do in an exam. So a positive relationship between the two. Guys, can I be excused just for 3 minutes? Absolutely, Kira, very nice example. I'm going to stop the recording. I'll be back in 3 minutes. My apologies.